Hello?
Oh, you are still there.
Comes the train.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, and so, wow, it's just bizarre about Greg Plitt. I mean,
Yes, it is.
the duality there. In other words, there he is. He's talking to other people and their problems, and the light that he shines is on this focus, about problems and about his energy, his his workouts, his motivation, and
it looks like it's going slow.
nobody's taking a clue, from his behavior, is that he's a manic depressant.
Right.
Now, okay, so hindsight, if you say, well, Greg Plitt's a manic depressant, and then you go to his site, you say, oh yeah, well, I can see that, I can plainly see that. But evidently none of his friends, nobody picked that up.
Yeah, strange.
And how many times has that happened to hundreds, thousands of people? And they don't necessarily have to kill themselves, but they're
used to work out down here.
They're out there, and either their friends or acquaintances, family, or if they're in the public, eye like Greg was, people are, they're, I don't know. It seems like so many people are so critical nowadays. Yet, where is a critic when you need them? Where is somebody that's critical when somebody has a problem like Greg? Like, I am assuming that Greg had being manic depressant or bipolar or bipolar 2 or whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's a clear case of suicide. I mean, if in fact as the report says, they said that they confiscated the camera that was filming him running away from the train. It's clear that Greg Plitt knows that he can't outrun the train because it's video evidence of that. He tries to run, he sprints as fast as he can, the train goes flying by. He already knows he can't outrun the train. Most people know that.
Yeah.
Now, Greg's not stupid. Greg's an intelligent guy with a disorder.
Yeah.
And so even without having any type of diagnosis for Greg or whatever, it's clearly suicide because he's on those tracks and he's not getting off. He's running.
Yeah.
You cannot run a train. He knows it. He's smart.
Most people would know it even if they never tried.
Yeah, and so, and he gives, what is it, about 2 months ago or whatever, when he made the video, Depression versus Perception, he clearly states, that he did that when he was parachuting. He purposely didn't pull the cord until emergency, and then when it was supposed to go off, he said, this is it. This is the end of my problems. That's attempted suicide right there.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, the fact that he was running away from the train is enough for the police to say it wasn't clearly not a suicide because he was running away from the train. But that's like logic in a bottle. I mean, it's and then most people don't want to believe it.
Yeah.
They don't want to believe that as successful as he was, and if you look at the videos, you see plenty of warning signs or cries for help or whatever. Literally, in the video just a month ago or so, they made the Life's Gut Check, it was called. If that wasn't a cry for help or a display of having an episode of manic depression, I don't know what was, So you got these samples of, and then right before he dies, he completes his website and it ties up that loose end.
Yeah,
And,
life
you know,
before.
And then then of course his dog dies.
His life before.
Yeah. And then the video of his dog dying, and he states he's ready. If he dies tomorrow, he's okay with that. And your legacy, he's always talking fatalistically.
Yeah.
And most of his videos, and so nobody pays attention to that, and until it's too late. And now even now, who has come out with this? Nobody. There it is. And like I say, okay, well, even without any of that, any of the personality, theories about him, there's the clear evidence. You're running away from a 60-mile-an-hour train would be the same as stepping in front of it. You're not you're not getting away unless you try and jump off, which he did. So.
Right.
So in essence, he died. The thrill-seeking was a self-medication for the depression. And as he states, this diagnosis is coming from Greg himself. Greg Plitt himself gave his own diagnosis in those 3 videos. The perception, depression versus perception, life's gut check, and the power of death. Right there is Greg's own diagnosis before he died of his problem of manic depression or whatever. And so self-medicating with success and thrill-seeking and bodybuilding. Even says that he feels real bad, dog tired, and he's depressed. Has to go to the gym at 2:00 in the morning to self-medicate.
Yeah.
And so, I think that coming out with this, it's not at all against his legacy or Greg Plitt himself. I mean, the man had a problem that he didn't get any help for. And it doesn't make him a bad man. He was a good man, the best. And, for anybody that's depressed or all they got to do is watch. He's an expert in it, as far as telling about how he dealt with it, the perception. And, but even, he needed help just like anybody else does. And so to come out with this would be, it would be justified. I mean, I think it would be, right now people think, what is the guy, stupid? I mean, how could he be so stupid? You hear all these questions. If they only knew, then there would be an explanation, and it would be a proper explanation, and coming out with the truth is in this case, I think would be beneficial, for people who is all over. Look, there's how many people are afflicted with depression would learn from this and gain from Greg himself, everybody else has gained, that goes to his site, with his, his life. And so I don't think it would be bad at all to come out with this.
I don't think so either.
I think everybody could breathe a sigh, of compassion and closure. And so, poor guy.
It is very sad.
Yeah, and a lot of people say, the guy's super successful. He's been on every magazine cover, and they don't realize that it was this depression that drove him. He was busy all the time. I mean, he couldn't sit still. People would say he's like always moving and going and and pushing.
didn't need
to
a gym.
carry that around, in him, And I mean,
Of course, it's
it sounds like he had a good family and all that,
out
but
here on the tracks. It's just a docking area.
Well, that can only go so far.
But when you're
yeah,
on
I
the
mean,
tracks,
when somebody's got,
you know,
problem, everybody looked to Greg for help or advice or motivation, and nobody's ever thinking about, well, this poor guy, he's like going to drive himself into the ground, or what is,
even on the,
you look into some of his videos, you see his face, he's obviously, he's angry, he's super motivated, but he's kind of angry and sad, in a way, so.
Yeah.
But this is all hindsight,
Yeah. Well,
but
hindsight's 20/20.
yeah, and so far I don't see any people coming out with this, and there's huge amounts of benefit from learning from this, for everybody, and that in itself, coming from Greg, is still helping, could still, all aspects of his life are beneficial to people,
Mm-hmm.
including and especially, his depression. I'm an amateur psychologist, but still, to me, it's like night and day. It's right there.
Heavy lifters, heavyweights.
Unfortunately, only after the fact. Yeah, I lived close to the guy, so.
That feeling that you might have been able to do something, that's a common feeling.
So, like he'd go to a fitness expo and hundreds of people would be coming up just to shake his hand. People would fly in from another country or whatever to see Greg Plitt and to shake his hand and show their abs and say, look, you saved my life, man. I wonder how many people, if anybody, ever went up to Greg and said, hey, man, I notice you're kind of worried or something's going on, are you okay? I mean, you sound depressed or you sound this or whatever, Maybe they did. I'm just a fan. One of the millions that didn't even get his abs right. I'm working on my abs at 55 years old, trying to get my abs to pop or to get some kind of an ab up thing so I could officially join the ranks. And my goal was to one day go up and pull up my shirt and say, thanks, Greg, just like the rest, just like, and so, in the back of my head, that I, I didn't even want to meet him until I had abs, What the hell? For sure wasn't thinking about, going up and say, hey, Greg, I seen your video. And are you all right, man? You want to talk about it? Or I totally understand about the dog. I mean, he even went to my same vet. I mean, I've been there, literally. Well, when you put a dog down, you intentionally kill them, but it's tough to do even when they're going to die because a myriad of reasons. All right, you're going to be up for a while. Let me call you back.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
All right, talk to you later.
All right.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Regardless of what circumstances led to you, your last days, doesn't matter. What you did before that is what counts. Rest in peace, Greg Plitt.